All right, take two. So thank you all for bearing with me. Here we go. For the People Week. So DFAD's For the People Week officially is from today to Friday, but CP is kind of planning our own For the People Week in coordination with DFAD events, but we're going to add a phone bank on Saturday. So starting today through Saturday is For the People Week. And the whole point of this week is to raise awareness and promote the passage of S1, or the For the People Act. And so for folks who don't know much about the For the People Act, in the most basic terms that I can explain it, it's really like common sense democracy and like voting rights. So like, for example, like automatic voter registration, kind of things that we are like we know work, and we may, if you're in Washington State like me, vote by mail are really familiar with, but this is, you know, pretty big for a federal bill. And so it also isn't just voting rights and democracy stuff. It also has to do with holding officials accountable and getting big money out of politics. And so this is a really, really comprehensive package. That's the way that I would kind of say it. But for our week, we're going to be doing events in coordination with DFAD's teach-ins. So we'll be doing community stuff, we'll be doing educational events, and we'll also be taking action. And I also just want to note for folks that we're also doing some state level advocacy throughout this week. So the week as a whole is focused on the federal act, but there is going to be some state level stuff sprinkled in, as always for CP, right? And so now we're going to just move to our schedule. And I'm going to share just a document instead of this PowerPoint. Sorry, we're hopping around so much. But this will also be up on the website. So don't feel like you need to capture everything right now or anything like that.
It's actually there now. If you want to look up for yourself, yeah, head to the advocacy tab and you can see it for yourself if you want to.
Cool. Yeah, I always like following along on my own screen. But for folks who are on their phone or can't, we got it right here sharing on the screen. So today, Monday, we're having our kickoff. So y'all made it here. So you can make it to all our other events if you can get onto this Zoom. So this is really kind of like I would say like choose your own adventure. You're not obviously obligated to attend all or any of these events, but really just whatever works best for you and what you can make the time for. You'll notice just first looking at it that it's color coded. So the purple events are CP events. So these will be events that we'll be at and hosting. The blue events are phone banks. And so that will be team advocacy. So David will be at all of those for sure. And we're also going to be doing those in coordination with partner organizations. So you can kind of learn more about that. There's hyperlinks for every event where you can learn more and join. And then the orange ones are DFAD, our coalition events. And so those will be hosted by partners, like I mentioned before, such as like the Brennan Center, New Georgia Project has an event. There's a really great kind of menu for you to pick of what you'd like to eat this week in terms of democracy content. But I just also want to say that all of the times are in Pacific time. When you go to DFAD events, they will be in Eastern time, so that can get a little confusing. But this schedule will have everything that CP is centering around for DFAD's For the People Week. If you check out For the People Week, there are more things going on, but this is kind of like CP's For the People Week. And so maybe if someone can drop the link in the chat, if people want to check it out, there is a page now up with information on this week. But this is kind of what we got going on today. So our kickoff, and then hopefully we'll see folks at the phone bank later. And then there's S1, HR1, or HR4, which is the John Lewis bill, if folks know that name more familiar, event later in the afternoon.
So why don't you hop onto the site and go to the advocacy page, because
Sure.
there's another button there that I want to show folks.
Sure.
You can just do new tab here if you want.
Oh yeah.
So the way we design our kind of curated view of this week is that we thought about the things that intersect most with our work. And we chose one event per day. There are many events per day, as she said. But we really want to experience them together. So we're gonna jump into these things and we're gonna watch them together. And then afterwards, we're gonna talk about it in community. And I mean, there've been a few times for me that I have wanted to talk to David after seeing something, and get his thoughts and kind of have him pick stuff apart for me. And this will be a good opportunity to do just that. We'll be able to sit and listen to some of the preeminent experts in our field talk about this work that we're doing that is so important. And then we're going to be able to get together with David and the rest of us and kind of have him debrief with us. So those are, I think, 30-minute, they're quick 30-minute scheduled, but we'll go longer. David will talk for the rest of the night if he can. So are you on the page?
Yeah, I should be if folks, hopefully folks can see.
We're seeing the old document here.
Oh shoot, hold on one second.
There we go. Perfect.
There we go.
Okay, cool. So scroll to the top here. So as soon as you get to the advocacy page, you're going to see this now. And so there's the advocacy tab up there, and you scroll down and there's a description there, but there's also a little button. So you can scroll down to the document that she showed, or you can click this button and it'll take you to our events page. That's a filter of all of the For the People Week events. So it's got the CP kickoff there, and then it's also got the next event. So 3:30 Pacific is the DFAD event. And then can you remind me, Kylie, is
someone's at front door.
David, is that you again, man? Is the Zoom link for our debrief in this?
Let me check.
Let's see. I think it is. I think that's the way we structured
it. Something went wrong. Try again in a few seconds.
Sorry. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so there's
Thanks,
the
Betty.
Register for the, so you can register now if you're interested in going. You can register here for the DFAD event, and then the CP debrief is below. And you can just join. No need to register for the CP events.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Yeah, thanks, Betty. Is Betty on the call? Betty is a whiz at this. So any questions just about the week and how it's going to roll out and what we're going to be doing? Or David, you got anything to add?
I guess I'll say something to fill up the silence. That Tuesday, hi, it's Charlene. Love making phone calls and learning from everyone. The Tuesday lineup with Ari Berman, or is that Wednesday? I just was looking at that Democracy on the Ropes. I mean, you've got some connections here at a national level, people that, we can see, quote, up close. And I just want to thank you all for putting this together this week, because it really helps us broaden out with all the difficulties going on nationwide. So thank you.
Yeah, that one is one that we had the choice of a couple, and we were like, that one we really got to go to, because I think it's Ari and it's Ensei from New Georgia Project and somebody else. Another thing about clicking into the our events, Betty kind of summarized what each of the events are about and pulled over some information from DFAD. So if you want to do a quick look that way. Also, there's DFAD's Mobilize website, but if you want to go through kind of what we've curated, that button will take you to all the ones that we've chosen this week that we're gonna debrief on. Who is it who just spoke? I lost you here.
Charlene.
Charlene.
Yeah, hey.
Charlene, you make phone calls with us, right?
Oh, yeah. I worked on the Michigan team specifically because I was really looking forward to fighting the fight, and we did okay even without the travel.
Yeah.
And then worked on the Senate, Georgia Senate, and that was a fight. And now on to the next.
Are you calling right now with the team that meets up?
Yeah, I've done a bit of that. In fact, David kind of did a guest spot there, but I'm also working with a group called Jones Democracy Cafe that I met through Paul Taub and through the Georgia campaign. But you guys really rank, so.
Oh, thank you. That's what we
Seriously.
like to hear. We like to hear we're the best place to call with,
Yeah, and you offer a lot of support, a lot of camaraderie. It's great seeing the mentoring you do, and with younger people coming through and managing. I like that. Plus your graphics, I have to say your graphics are really, really good. Your messaging.
Thank you. Hey, look at that, Betty. Good job. One of the things we realized about this work is, and we didn't think of it right away, is that the way you get people to keep doing it for longer is it helps if they like each other. And so it was like, wow, it's a total innovation there. We just made places and ways for people to get to know each other, to like each other. So then they stuck around. That's our breakthrough innovations. We like each other, like hanging out with each other. Maggie, I see you're back in. So people are really excited for the On the Ropes event on, I think, Wednesday. What are you excited for? Anything stick out to you? Because DFAD is something that you brought us. You highlighted that as something that you thought we needed to join, and we listened to you. What's exciting this week for you?
No, I'm excited about Democracy on the Ropes just for the people that are going to be talking. It'll be exciting to hear from them. Tomorrow, the Reclaiming Our Districts, I think is going to be interesting for redistricting. If I had actually talked to I'm based out of Minnesota, and I actually had a call with some people in the Minnesota Senate and House to talk about how redistricting works and what kind of a people first approach to redistricting would look like, which is not really how it's done. So I think hopefully all of you can join to learn a little bit more about how should the process go? How do you hear from communities about what matters in redistricting, as opposed to it just being, like somebody cutting up maps in the most optimal way. It's supposed to be done by a listening tour and bringing people in of what's important. So I'm excited about that one too, because it's something I don't know as much about. So I think it'll be interesting. There is one event that we haven't highlighted, which feels inappropriate that I'm going to plug it, but it's called, it's tomorrow on Tuesday, and it's about winning messaging. I'll put it in the chat, but there's a woman named Anat Ocasio-Shenker who does a lot of polling work and messaging work for Democrats to talk about how should progressives talk about all of voting rights. And she does it for more than voting rights, but how should we talk about it to bring people into the fold and to believe in it? So not to the progressive base, but to people on the fence. And it's really fascinating research about how you don't need to talk about problems, you need to talk about solutions, how to call on values, like the freedom to vote is one of the things they're pushing, not talking about voter suppression. It's all about the words and the things that actually move people. So it's super interesting. I'll find that. That's another one. I mean, you can always poke around for the other things they're doing, but that's one they just added. And the whole DFAD coalition got a brief on that research last week, and it was super interesting. So especially if you're going to be calling, it could be helpful to understand a little bit more about the frames that really makes sense in messaging. So I'll put that in the chat. So those are the two that I think are exciting for me.
That's cool. That's for bonus credit.
Yeah.
For the grade that you're not going to get in this CP experience, but that sounds really cool. Yeah, there's a sorry, that's my drip coffee if you can hear that. We do have a tendency to name things after the thing that we're trying to fight, right? We got some training that we need to put in place for folks. It's really good training that is going to open our minds and get us to understand what we're how best to communicate and behave across race, and it's called anti-racist training. And that's not the best name for it, you know. There's there's probably a better way to say that. That's just one example of many. But that's one of the things that we do on the left. It's how it works in the beginning because it helps to highlight the issue that we're fighting and unify people around what we're fighting for, because we're coming from all these different places. And so it's a good banner to align by, and we come together under it. But once we start charging forward, you know, it sticks with us, and that becomes what we're about. And really, there needs to be a shift there at some point. That'd be interesting to go to.
Yeah,
David,
he
you
always-
parked, man?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry,
Okay,
Matt.
You can
I was
you can
going to say
talk to
something
us
about the
now.
phone banks. I was going to say something about the phone banks. So Jude, I see you're on here, and Nancy LaRusso. If you two have been real regulars on the phone banks, if you might chime in and talk a little bit about that experience. But I want to first, in just a second, but I want to just make sure everybody knows that this work for advocacy is going to take months. All right. There is nothing that's going to happen overnight here in the U.S. Senate. It's not. If we're going to win in the Senate and get rid of the filibuster, or somehow come up with another version of the filibuster, it's going to take months of pressure and engagement. And our calls and our direct to senator contacts are all part of this. And we're going to, we're in it for the long run here. So this is, early April, and we started back in February. And I expect that we're going to be working both against bad state bills in Arizona, previously in Georgia, and also for the S1, S4 at the federal level, well into late summer. And then redistricting is going to start. The drawing of districts, as Maggie was referencing, is going to begin. So we're gonna pressure around that too. Not with U.S. senators. We'll probably be pivoting at that point to figure out some state level contacts that will pressure. But the advocacy team is a central part of our work right now. In fact, this is what we fought for, to have these chances to work for this. So I'd love to have you come to the phone banks, or to do the direct to senator contacts that we're engaged in, where it's like last year's advocacy, where you can just take our script and phone call or tweet at senators and ask them to either affirm their support and be strong, or to consider supporting. So, hey, Jude, and then maybe Nancy, if you're out there, could you just talk a little bit about your experience with our phone banks so far?
Great. Hey, thanks, David. Good to see everybody. Yeah, the call hub is awesome technology. It's way cool. It doesn't give you all the heebie-jeebies of the other faster ones, and people have been, especially in Georgia, extremely receptive. Hey, yeah, patch me through. I'll talk to them, which is very cool. Arizona's a little different. People are kind of not quite as engaged, at the state level. They're like, what's going on? But people generally think it's pretty cool. They can do it right now. Or you can text them, send them a voicemail, if they're too busy. A lot of people are busy at the time we're calling. And people are pretty receptive. It's, it's at least 10%, if not sometimes 20% of your calls. And you always get to do something. If you don't talk to somebody, you can leave a voicemail, leave a text. So you feel like you're being productive. You feel like you're providing a service. Another thing, they're very targeted on the calls they're making. They're usually to people who have a cell that you can text, people who voted by absentee, so they've got skin in the game, they care about it. Not everyone's Democrat or progressive. I made the mistake of talking to a couple people thinking, hey, these Republicans are trying to take away, your voting rights. And the guy said, wait a minute, I'm a Republican. And, I believe in voting rights, but, there's some things the Democrats are doing. I said, hey, just call them, let them know the things that bother you, and, they'll listen. It's pretty dang easy. So it's been great. It's been very, you feel like you're doing something and providing people some input, some background. So it's been great. Thanks.
Thanks, Jude. Hi, I'm Nancy, and I've been doing Monday, Wednesdays with David and Betty and Colin, mostly with the Center for Common Ground Call Hub, again, awesome technology, super easy on your computer. Don't have to worry about Google Voice or anything like that. And pretty much ditto everything that Jude has said. I do find that first of all, for those who haven't done training, Center for Common Ground does a fabulous job training folks, really thorough, very thoughtful, answers all your questions. You'll be up and running in no time. And then from there on out, you join in. But one of the things that's fun about the way CP has set up these phone banks, which I find really great, is because they're not hosting the national phone bank. They do, I call it pre-gaming on my calendar. I have pre-game with CP. So it's a half hour of getting to know the other people from CP who are going to call. And then we all, as a group, go into the national call bank, and it is just really fun to watch the reaction on the host's face, as you know, probably 80% of their screen is CP. We all put Common Power after our name, and it feels really good to show up kind of en masse on a virtual screen. And it's been fun to get to know other people in the pre-game session, because I really love, seeing Martha Cohen's earring collection. That was crazy, absolutely wild. But yeah, it's great sense of building community from our homes and making a difference as we call folks.
We learned the best things in those pregame things, right? Martha Cohen had like 14 chocolate mousse treats in a couple hours when she was in Paris, right? Yes. Hey, Betty, if you're out there, and I think you still are, Betty, you just have gotten involved with our advocacy work. How come you wanted to get involved, and you're gonna help run some of it?
She's already running them, isn't she? I think she already ran a couple of them.
Yeah, she's gonna.
Hi.
Yeah.
I can hear you, David. I'm sorry. What did you ask me?
You've gotten involved with our calling for advocacy, and you already started, and you're gonna help us to do those pre-games. And I just thought I'd ask you, how come you wanted to get involved and why you're doing this?
Well, I think I want to get involved. Well, this stuff directly affects me as a person of color. So I think that's a big motivator for me, but also because I think I have also experienced a lot of these, the things that we're fighting for. I have experienced a lot of that. And it's I'm so not good at like talking on the spot. But
You
I
got
think
it.
that
You're fine.
I definitely got involved because this work definitely aligns with who I am as a person and also the things that I've experienced in the past. And I want to see better. I want to see better, not just for me, but for the people that come after me. And also everything just, it really needs to change. And that's really my biggest motivator for this work. I think that's really what gets me involved. I care deeply about these issues. I think I see how it affects people. I see how it has affected me. I see how it has affected my friends. I've seen how it has affected my family. I think that's my biggest motivator, is that I want people to be able to have equality, and especially with everything that's been going on in the past year, I think it's really been a reality check for everyone. And so,
How
yeah,
have
sorry to get all deep.
No, that's good. That's good. Like, this is serious work that we're doing. We have fun while we're doing it, but it's deep stuff. How the calls been? Because this is your first time making this many calls like all at the same time, right?
Yes. I'm sort of getting my feet a little wet in this. So I've never used Hub Dialer, so like again, that's something new for me too. I did Georgia's calls, but I'm pretty sure everyone's familiar with how we have done calls in the past. But I enjoy it. I find that everyone's really excited to do this work when we get into that room. The space is so positive. And then I also find that every time I've been in every call, we have been making so many calls that DFAD's like, oh my gosh, are they going to hit 40? I'm always listening to them too while I'm helping make calls. They're like, oh my gosh, they're really going to hit these calls? Wow. And then like, it's just amazing to just see like how dedicated everyone is. And we're also surprising them. They're not expecting us to make as many calls as we did. So it's really exciting. I think it's a great place to like start too. I don't know if Martha's on this call, but Martha has been making a lot. She's been holding it down. So I definitely give kudos to her, and she's always a sunshine too, to just be able to like work with and do this work with. So I want to throw that out there.
Well, Betty, you're the one that really inspires us to keep going. So we really, you're on top.
Thank you, Martha.
Good stuff. So come to the events or go to the DFAD events with us and watch. Come to the debrief afterwards, and David will give you the rundown. Ask a bunch of good questions, and then join a phone bank if you're fired up and available. Do some phone banking with Betty, it looks like. Kylie, you helped kick us off, and you're also keeping time here. And you've probably looked through and thought about all the stuff we've said and haven't said. Are we missing anything here while we close up?
I don't think so. I was just gonna one last thing in the chat, send a link again to the advocacy page. We'll be posting the video of this recording, but everything you need can be found there. Obviously, feel free to reach out with questions.
Oh no, you think you froze for a second? We'll be posting the video.
Yeah, but you can find everything at that link, and I'll leave it there. Sorry about that. Thanks, everyone.
All good, all good. David, you got anything? No? Good to go? Maggie? Okay. Betty, need some closing words.
Let's get to work. I'm so bad.
That works. That works. Well done. Thank you all. Thanks for joining. To see you again soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.
Thank you.